If you can't calm down, even when you're sitting still, watching TV, or trying to relax, it's not your personality type. It's because your body is literally stuck in survival mode. I'm going to show you 3 reasons your nervous system won't let you relax. Then I'm going to give you tools that you can start using today to finally turn off that constant buzzing feeling inside. I don't want to see you get stuck in burnout, the kind where your body makes the choice for you through chronic migraines, through illness, through complete mental or physical shutdown. I'm a nervous system coach, and I work with women who say things like, "Oh, why can't I just relax and be a normal person?" And here's what I want you to know right from the start: there is nothing wrong with you. What you're experiencing isn't a personality trait. You're not just made to be on the go all the time. It's your nervous system trying to keep you safe by keeping your body busy. This is a flight response. The problem? Most advice on stress management or relaxation completely misses this. People tell you to just meditate, just take a bath, or practice self care. But when that doesn't work, you think that you're the problem. But this is the truth. You can't logic your way out of a stress response. Today, we're going to talk about 3 things. First, I'm going to show you what's actually happening in your body when you can't come down. I want to help you understand the science behind why you feel this way so you understand it's not you, it's your nervous system asking for help. Second, we'll look at the hidden patterns that keep you stuck in this cycle. And third, I'm going to give you 3 practices that work to signal safety to your nervous system. Then you can finally disarm that stress response and allow yourself to just be. Okay, let's dive in. Tell me if this sounds familiar. It's Tuesday afternoon, your to-do list is a mile long, and you finally sit down for lunch. But instead of eating, you're scrolling through your phone, responding to messages, you're mentally planning for dinner. Your shoulders are up to your ears, your jaw is clenched, and you have this feeling inside that everything is just swirling and whirling. And you tell yourself, after I finish this, then I'll relax. Then I'll sit down. Then I'll eat. Then I'll get what I need. But when you're done with that thing, here's another, and then another, and then another. And then your kids get loud, and suddenly you're snapping out at them. You're on edge, and it feels like there's no margin between the feeling you're having and the reaction you're having to it. Your partner asks you where the ketchup is, and then you lose your mind. Finally, you get to the end of the day, you collapse on the couch, you turn on Netflix, and then your mind is so busy you can't even pay attention to the show. So what do? You scroll on your phone some more. Your mind is racing and your body is restless. And inside you think, God, I'm just so exhausted. Why can't I relax? And here's what makes this even more frustrating. You've tried to fix it. You've exercised, and sure, that helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. You've tried meditation, but your mind won't turn off long enough for it to actually work. Maybe you've even done therapy, and while it gave you some insights, you still feel this way every single day, stuck in those cycles. And the cost done to your body, to your mental health, your relationships, it's getting higher and higher and higher. The migraines are getting more frequent. You're sick more often. You're irritable with the people you love the most in the world. You're waking up in the morning and thinking, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I have something here that might shift everything for you. Problem isn't that you need to try harder to relax. The problem is that your body doesn't believe that it's safe enough to relax. You're in a cortisol trap. Let me explain. When you can't calm down, it's because your body is pumping cortisol, your stress hormone, throughout your veins consistently. And here's the thing about cortisol: it's chemically incompatible with rest. Think of your nervous system as having an on switch and an off switch. So the stress switch is connected to moving fast, your heart's racing, your blood is pumping. The off switch is connected to the chemical serotonin to rest, digestion, and relaxation. When your nervous system is in a stress response, rest feels wrong. It feels unsafe. You can't relax because cortisol is telling your body, stop resting, this is dangerous. Your nervous system essentially thinks it needs to be running from a bear. When cortisol is flooding your muscles with glucose, it literally is telling your body, move or die. Cortisol tells your brain to keep looking for what's going wrong or to plan for what could go wrong. This is why you can't turn off your brain. It's why you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Your body's not broken, it's just in chronic survival mode. Here's what most people get wrong about this. They think they can logic themselves out of a stress response. They think, I'm safe, I'm fine, there's no real threat here, I should just be able to relax. But disarming the stress response isn't a cognitive process, it's a felt experience. Your nervous system doesn't speak in words, it speaks in sensations, in safety cues, the experience of being seen, safe, and soothed. This is why affirmations alone don't work. Just think positive doesn't cut it. You need to tell your body that it's safe in a language that it actually understands. We're going to get to the how in just a minute, but first you need to understand the importance of meeting your needs. This is one of the ways that we can signal safety. I call this the empty tank problem. Here's a question I want you to sit with for a second. When was the last time you truly prioritized meeting your own needs? Not in a treat yourself kind of way where you pick up a Starbucks. I mean, when is the last time you did a check in with your body, with your heart, and say, I see you. What do you need right now? And then give it to yourself. If you're like most of the women that I work with, the answer is, I don't know, I can't remember. But here's the truth. You can't run a car without any gas. When you try to, your nervous system goes into burnout. And burnout looks like this: interrupted sleep, weight gain, you're irritable, you resent people you love, you're exhausted, you're sick all the time, you don't want to get out of bed, you become someone you don't even recognize in the mirror anymore. Now, here's what so many people get backwards about their needs. They think they have to meet everyone else's needs first in order to deserve having their own needs met. But that's not how this works. First of all, we can't even control whether other people meet our needs. So, waiting for permission or validation from others is a losing game. And second, and this is the part that's going to sound a little bit radical, but if you receive first, then you'll actually have something to give. Think about it like the airplane oxygen mask analogy. You put on yours first, not because you're selfish, because if you pass out, you can't help anyone else. When you're running on empty, everyone around you gets the worst version of you. But when you fill your own tank, you actually show up better for everyone else. I have just one more thing I want to talk about before we move on to solutions. I call it the authenticity crisis, and this one goes deep. You might be living a life that's not true to your authentic self. For example, maybe you became a nurse because it was a practical and logical decision. But growing up, you always wanted to work with horses. You rationalize. You don't have time or the money to start your horse therapy farm. So you go about your normal life. When we ignore our heart's cry for a long period of time, it creates a very low energy state in the body. Let me explain. From the time we were young, we learn to adapt. We take on our family's expectations, society's rules, the cultural norms, and we learn what's acceptable and what gets us in trouble. We make these adaptations because fitting in with the group meets a survival need. If we don't fit, we risk rejection. And rejection to a child's brain equals death. So think about an infant getting rejected by their parent, not having their needs met. It's literally a life or death situation. So we learn to suppress the true wants, the needs, desires. We learn to be who we think we're supposed to be so that we can match the group. But here's what happens. At some point, often in our 30s and 40s, our soul starts to remind us of who we really are, what our dreams once were. Some might call this a midlife crisis. And suppressing that truth takes an enormous amount of energy. It puts a lot of pressure on the body. It's like keeping a beach ball submerged in the pool water. At some point, it's going to pop up. Your burnout might not be about doing too much. It might be your body telling you the life you're living is not the life you're meant to live. I know this might sound scary or overwhelming, and you might be thinking, great, so I have to blow up my whole life now? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying this. The pressure you feel, the inability to relax, it might be pointing you towards something really important. It might be showing you places where you've abandoned yourself, and reclaiming those pieces, that's where rest becomes possible. Now that you understand what factors could be happening, let's talk about what to do about it. I'm going to give you 3 tools. one for each of the problems we just talked about. Tool number 1, the what's going right practice. This one is to help the cortisol trap. The brain is constantly looking for what's going wrong. So here's what to do. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes every day. I recommend the morning so you can give yourself the space when you are fresh, but anytime you can commit to will work. Ask yourself this question: what in my day is going right? And that's it. That's the whole practice. Remember how I said your nervous system turns on threat detection when you're stressed? When you ask what's going right, you send a signal to your brain that, hey, you don't need to scan for threat anymore. You can actually start scanning for safety. So you send this signal that says, we don't need to find what's wrong right now. We can relax. You want to sit somewhere comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. Just center yourself and ask, what is going right today? And notice what comes up. You're not looking for big dramatic things. You're looking for ordinary things that are working exactly as they should. For example, I woke up, I walked into my bathroom, and I went to the bathroom. And then I flushed my toilet, and the toilet flushed just like it should. And then I went to wash my hands, and the water turned on just as it should. And I pumped soap out of the soap dispenser, and the soap came out. It's on my hands. I'm able to wash my hands. Then I went downstairs, and the coffee pot worked exactly as it was designed to do. Then the sun came up today, just as it always does. My heart is beating in my chest. My heart is doing its job perfectly. This is not forcing yourself into gratitude. If you've been burnt out for a long time, gratitude can actually be triggering to your nervous system because it feels like lying to yourself. This is about acknowledging the safety that is available to you right now. You're just noticing the thing right here in front of me, it's working. And usually we take that for granted. It's not about forcing positivity. We're adding tiny safety cues so your nervous system can recognize that the stress switch does not need to be on right now. Here's tool number 2, the stew method. This one is for the empty tank problem, for learning how to actually identify and meet your own needs. STEW stands for sensations, thoughts, emotions, and what do I need? If you are someone that is chronically neglecting your needs, I want you to take 10 to 15 minutes a day to build your mind-body connection. This is also an amazing resource anytime you feel triggered, activated, or stressed. Here's how it works. Start by checking in with your sensations. What do you notice in your body right now? Do you have tension in your shoulders? Do you have tightness in your chest? Do you have butterflies in your stomach? We're just paying attention, just noticing. Then I want you to move to your thoughts. What's running through your mind? Don't judge it, just observe. Then move on to emotions. What are you feeling? Are you anxious? Are you overwhelmed? Are you angry or sad? There's something happening in your body when you can name the emotion. It actually helps lower the intensity of the emotion. And finally, we ask the question, what do I need? Based on everything you just noticed, what would feel supportive to you right now? Now, I have a whole body breaking down the STEW method step by step in great detail to help you more fully understand how to identify thoughts and what types we have, how to identify sensations, what they look like in the body. I also have alternate questions to what do I need that you can ask to learn how to support yourself. I have a free printable cheat sheet on my website, and I will link both of those things in the description below. Here's a tip. I don't want you to wonder if you're doing it right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong. The goal is to just connect with yourself and feel a little bit better. Don't put pressure on yourself for this to be an amazing, transformative experience every time. The goal is to be just 1% better every day. You are rebuilding a broken relationship with yourself, and it's going to take time to see significant changes. Let me know if you give it a try in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experience and help you work out any questions or issues you have with it. Tool number 3, the resistance release exercise. This one is for the authenticity crisis, for figuring out where you've abandoned yourself. Here's the concept. Your discomfort is communication from your body. That rushing feeling, the stress, the pain, the envy you feel when someone else is living freely, It's all telling you about what you truly want and desire, which is a beautiful thing. Here's how to do this. Set aside an hour or so when you won't be interrupted. And I want you to identify where you're feeling the most pressure in your life right now. Is it your work? Is it your relationships, your daily routine, your role as a mother? Maybe it's the expectations you put on yourself. Close your eyes and feel the pressure in your body. Where does it live? Your chest, your throat, your stomach? We want to pay attention to that sensation. Step 3, then I want you to get curious with it. I want you to ask, what are you trying to tell me? How are you trying to help me? I know this might sound super weird, but please just stay with me. Write down whatever comes up, even if it doesn't make sense at first. Here's an example. Maybe you feel pressure to keep your house perfect, and that feels like tension in your chest. When you sit with the uncomfortable feeling and give it permission to be here, that would look like, I see you tension in your chest. I see you feel pressure to keep the house perfect. You're going to sit with that uncomfortable feeling and give it permission to be here. But then what happens when you welcome it to be here, when you give it permission to be here? All of this other context and information will start to come to you. It's like all of the information and the knowledge in your body has been trapped in this little box. You're giving it permission to come out of the box. And so this other information that now becomes available to you might be giving you insight into why you're doing what you're doing. Here's another example. Maybe you feel pressure to always be available to help everyone. And underneath is a fear that saying no will mean that you are unlovable, rejected, or abandoned. I want you to know these unpleasant feelings belong to you just as much as any other part of you. And when you push them away, you are continuing the same cycle of rejection that had you feeling hurt in the first place. But here's what happens when we get curious and we ask, how is this serving me? What is it trying to tell me? It can give us this beautiful information and direction about where to go from here. Your resistance is often pointing you towards your truth. The thing that you're avoiding might be the exact thing that you need to move forward. Okay, this was a lot of information today. Here's some specific actions you can take this week. Practice 1. Every morning, spend 5 minutes asking what's going right. Even if it feels silly at first, just humor me and give it a try. Practice 2. At least once this week, ideally daily, do a stew check-in. The sensations, thoughts, emotions, and what do I need? Reminder, I will link the video explaining how to do this below, as well as a downloadable cheat sheet. Practice 3. Set aside 1 hour a week to do the resistance release exercise. Find that pressure point and get curious about it. This is always the hardest step, and if you need help with it, you can send me a message through my website. I'll also put the link in the description. Now, I want to be really clear about something. These practices are powerful and they will help, but they are not magic pills. If you've been in survival mode for years, it's going to take time to retrain your nervous system. Be patient with yourself. Be compassionate because you deserve it and your well-being depends on it. Let me recap 3 main points for you today. First, you can't relax because your body is stuck in a stress response. It's pumping cortisol and forcing your mind to scan for threats. You need to send safety signals in a language that your nervous system can understand. Second, you can't function with an empty gas tank. So when you don't prioritize your own needs, you head straight towards burnout. You need to first receive in order to have something to give. Third, you might be living a life that's not true to your authentic self. The pressure you feel, it might be your soul trying to remind you who you really are. And here's what I want you to remember. There is nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're certainly not crazy. Your nervous system is doing exactly what it was designed to do, and that is a beautiful thing. Now you have the job of helping it realize that you're already safe, that you're allowed to rest, that you're worthy of taking up space exactly as you are. If you want to go deeper with this work, I have a free Skills for Resilience assessment that will help you figure out exactly what your nervous system needs to feel safe and regulated. It's completely free and it comes with a personalized insight and next step. The link is in the description below. I also have that full video on the stew method I mentioned earlier, and it will walk you through exactly how to tune into your body and meet your needs. The link is also in the description. Finally, I want to ask you a question, and I'd love for you to answer in the comments. What is one thing in your life that you desperately wish you could be known for? What's a part of you that's been hiding? What truth have you been suppressing? Tell us in the comments below. Will you allow yourself to be seen? Because I want to see you. You have everything you need inside of you, and you always have. Now it's time for you to come home to yourself. I'll see you in the next video.